It's 2025, and I finally played and finished Black for the first time. But this is not just Black as it was, but Black Reborn. I'm talking a PlayStation 2 game, now running on the PCSX2 emulator with crisp widescreen patches at 60 frames per second. The dust has been wiped clean, the pixels sharpened, and what emerges from the past is a symphony of destruction, a ballet of bullets, and a game so obsessed with its firearms, it was famously dubbed gun corn. Welcome to a deep dive into what made Black a legend, and how it holds up years later, looking better than it ever did. Developed by Criterion Games, the masters of the Burnout series, and published by Electronic Arts, Black burst onto the scene in early 2006. It dropped on February 24th in Europe and February 28th in North America for both the PlayStation 2 and Xbox. The story puts you in the combat boots of Sergeant First Class Jack Keller, a Black Ops soldier whose mission takes him through the intense conflict zones of Ingushetia and Chechnya in the Russian Federation. From the get-go, the game makes its intentions clear. This is about cinematic firefights and blowing stuff up. Playing Black in 2025 on PCSX2 is like discovering a hidden gem that's been polished to a blinding shine. Those widescreen patches stretch the already impressive visuals across your modern monitor, and the 60 FPS patch makes everything much smoother than it ever could on original hardware, although the patch is not 100% perfect. It's wild to think this was pushing the PS2's limits back in the day, but now it truly sings. The first thing that hits you, beyond the visual upgrade, is the sheer weight of the game. It wasn't just called gun corn for kicks. Criterion Games put incredible effort into making every weapon feel real, from the detailed models to the satisfying kickback. It's a game that revels in the art of destruction where guns aren't just tools, they're characters themselves. And the sound, it is a masterclass. Black took inspiration from iconic action films. You can almost hear Bruce Willis's MP5 from I Hard, Jack Bauer's pistol from 24, and even Arnold Schwarzenegger's Uzi from True Lies echoing through your speakers. Criterion even had this genius concept they called the choir of guns, giving each enemy type a distinct weapon sound, low, medium or high, creating a harmonised, almost musical chaos during combat. Add to that the main theme by Chris Tilton, co-authored by Michael Giacchino, and you've got an auditory feast recorded at the legendary Newman scoring stage. It's truly a symphony of sounds that just delights your inner action hero. The destructible environments are still a highlight. Blowing holes through walls, watching concrete crumble, or seeing wooden crates splinter under a hail of bullets never gets old. But even with all this polish, some of Black's original quirks became more apparent. My biggest gripe was the enemy variation, or rather, the lack thereof. You're fighting waves of very similar looking bad guys throughout, and while the choir of guns helps, it eventually feels a bit repetitive. More frustratingly, a lot of these enemies felt like absolute bullet sponges. You'd unload clip after clip into a standard grunt, and they'd just keep coming. It often felt like you were fighting walking tanks rather than human soldiers, which could slow down the otherwise rapid-fire pace. When Black first launched, it was met with favourable reception from critics. The PlayStation 2 version scored a solid 79 to 100 on Metacritic, and the Xbox version matched that. Reviewers raved about its explosive gameplay and groundbreaking sound design. They praised the intense, fever-pitch action, though many pointed out its short length and the glaring absence of a multiplayer mode. Despite these criticisms, its impact was clear. It was nominated for First-Person Action Game of the Year and Outstanding Achievement in Original Music Composition at the 10th Annual Interactive Achievement Awards, and even made IGN's Top 100 Shooters list in 2013, cementing its place in FPS history. Users, however, absolutely loved it. On Metacritic, Black boasts a highly positive 8.6 out of 10 based on hundreds of reviews. Players consistently praise the incredibly satisfying gunplay and the destructive environments, often calling it one of the most explosive FPS games of its time, with many noting its meaty game feel. They truly appreciated the homage to 80s action films, finding the grainy graphics even added to that Cold War-like setting. The common user criticisms echoed the critics: the short campaign and no multiplayer. But for many, the sheer intensity and unique gameplay made up for those shortcomings. It even earned a Gold Sales Award from LSPA, meaning it sold at least 200,000 copies in the UK alone, a clear sign of its popularity. Its legacy was further extended when it was added to the Xbox backwards compatible program in 2018, allowing a new generation to experience this classic. Criterion Games, ever the tricksters, even included a fun Easter egg. In one secondary objective, your reticle turns blue, guiding you to a safe to destroy. When you blow it open, you find a label reading, "Destroyed Burnout Rendering Secrets." This is a nod to their Burnout series. It's a shame that a sequel to Black was actually in development but ultimately got scrapped due to disagreements between Criterion Games and Electronic Arts. While Body Count in 2011 is often considered a spiritual successor, it never quite captured the same magic. Black is truly remembered for its innovative, destructible environments and incredibly intense action, features that were genuinely ahead of their time for the PS2 era. It left a significant mark, and playing it in 2025, it still shines. However, after all the explosive build-up, the game ends quite abruptly. You're left wanting more, feeling like the curtain fell just as the show was reaching its peak. It's a testament to how good the core experience is, that you just don't want it to stop. Despite its flaws, the bullet sponge enemies, the slight enemy variation, and that abrupt ending, Black remains a singular experience. It's a game that understood its identity: pure, unadulterated, cinematic gunplay. It's a loud, proud, gloriously destructive FPS that, even almost 2 decades later, with a little help from modern tech, proves that some classics just refuse to fade away. It truly is a quintessential PS2 classic and a must-play for any fan of arcade shooters. If I had to score it right now, I would say it sits between a 7.5 and an 8.5. Be sure to let me know what score would you give it, and that is the explosive legacy of Black. A true PS2 classic that still holds its own, especially with a little modern polish. What were your favourite moments in Black? Did you ever play it back in the day? Or are you just discovering this gun-corn masterpiece now? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this deep dive into Black's cinematic action and destructible environments, hit that like button, subscribe for more retro gaming explorations, and ring that notification bell so you don't miss our next video. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.